Welcome back, my friends. Another episode of the Suited Kings podcast. In today's episode, we are going to discuss strategies on slow rolling, and this is actually going to be a very quick episode, rather. So, if you're playing a hand against Wes, it's always ethical to slow roll and should always be done. And that's the end of the strategy for today.
Good Lord.
roll the X.
On fire today. Look at you.
On fire.
Didn't even. You usually do like a hey, 3, 2, 1, start. Excuse me.
Just
3,
right
2,
into
1
it.
starting now, and it's just you just fire right into it.
I really hope that this results into you getting slow rolled many times in the future. And I'm sorry, but not sorry at the same time.
I can think of at least. I mean, there's one person that comes to mind who absolutely will do it.
Daniel.
Yeah, if he gets the chance.
Daniel's one of our Discord members and listeners. So it's funny, though, because he always, not always, but he sends me hands. Whenever he gets to fire away at you online, he'll send me the hand history of either him just trying to salami you or whatever might happen.
Yeah. I believe it.
Shout out to Daniel Kennedy. But anyway, today's episode's not actually about that. It's going to be the title is
close, actually.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, I guess. But as the title suggests, today's episode's actually going to be about angle shooting. Now, we've had our last, 4 episodes or so, 5 episodes maybe, have been about WSOP prep. And while this could actually fit right into there, I would say that angle shooting probably has happened to me most frequently while at the World Series of Poker. There's just so many different types of people, and you just play against the good, the bad, the ugly, all that good stuff. So today we're going to discuss and go over a bunch of different types of angle shooting and give examples. So maybe, I guess our goal with this episode is entertainment, but also to help you maybe, perceive an angle shoot if it's happening to you and be able to avoid it. Because I know an angle shoot essentially is someone trying to deceive you in a maybe not rule breaking way. Like it might not be against the rules, but their intention is to, how do I word this?
Something, right. Like something outside of the normal. They're trying to trick you into doing something.
Right. And while that is part of poker, like we checking to feign weakness stuff, but this is more in like the nature of the game, like the true nature of the game, the competitive nature of the game. Man, that was not well explained, but we'll go ahead and get into some examples that will clarify this a little bit. I got 5 of them here for us, Wes. And as some of you guys may have seen many of these as they've happened over the years. I got one spanning probably over the last decade here or so, but I was familiar with most of them except for one of them. And I think this one is probably the most egregious and the funnest one to start with. This one, so here's the thing, is angle shooting can be obvious and it can be not obvious. So what I mean by that is like the person who's angle shooting could be, whether or not it was intentional or not can remain hidden. Whereas this first hand, it's very clearly that he was angle shooting and that's that. So let's go ahead and get into the first hand. Wes, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So this is going to be the EPT, probably from like 2010 or something. I don't even know. It's quite old. You can just tell by the resolution of the video that I'm looking at here. But it starts off with opponent. I think they're 10-handed in the field. It's 2 5-handed tables. Our opponent's +1, which would make that, is that hijack?
So they're 10-handed?
Yeah, but 2 5-handed. No, 2
off.
5-handed tables.
Yeah, so that'd be cut off.
Or cut off.
Hijack would be under the gun.
You're right. Yeah, hijack's under the gun. You're right. So we're in cutoff. I almost just spilled my coffee. Thank God I didn't. His name is Freites. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. He's probably not listening to this. He opens the 5-6 of hearts. Again, this isn't going to be too much strategy oriented, so we'll probably leave stack sizes, etc. out.
It looks like they don't even have stack sizes, which we don't really know if this is good or not.
Thank God for current production values. You know what I mean? Like showing a lot more of the information that's relative, but. Our opponent here, or the hero, opponent, villain, whatever. We'll call him the villain because he's the angle shooter. He opens the 5-6 of hearts in cutoff, folds to the big blind, Unite, we'll say. I can't pronounce these European names or whatever they are. He's actually American according to the flag.
Oh.
He defends the king queen off. Now, Everything here seems completely standard, and we get to a flop of King 5-3. Now, Big Blind, I think, as normal, is going to check here, right? And let the original better continue betting, which he does. He bets 200,000 into 265. So the pot's now 465,000. And King Queen has a pretty clear call here. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, depending on their stacks, he could just raise.
You could
Like if
potentially raise as
if
well, I
you're
guess.
not super deep, you are comfortable getting this in. But yeah,
I
I
completely
mean,
agree. You're right. It's not a clear call. He has other options, but we don't know stack sizes, ICM, all that stuff. So I guess with the information we have, it's kind of a clear call.
yep.
Anyways, he calls, and now the turn is the five of diamonds, which gives the villain trips. So he opens the 5-6 of hearts. The board is King 5-3-5. Now big blind checks,
Yep.
and our opponent. I think let's go back up here. I'm going back. Got a little ahead of myself here. And our the
Oh, he
villain
checks
checks
back.
back. Yeah. So
I mean that
it's standard, right? Because the five is supposed to hit the big blinds range more than his opening range.
right. Like it seems sort of a lot of times I would still just like bet small here.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we're trying to
you
build
can
a pot.
yeah, you can still
I think it
like
depends here on stack sizes, right? Like, are we going to be able to get it all in or not going to be able to get it all in? And that will determine if I'm going to bet or not. If our opponent has like less or like a one SPR or less, then I might just check back thinking I can get it in on the river.
yeah, versus a king.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Um
which our opponent has, or the hero, we'll call it, has here.
yeah.
So,
And then it looks like River 6. So we
check,
both
check,
bet.
turn, river six. So the original Razor, Freites, now River's boat. He's very under repped here, obviously. And I think at this point with a king, I think we should, from the big blind, we probably have a clear value bet, right?
I would agree.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what he does there. He bets 275 into what's seven, six, like 85 or something like that. Six,
Yep, 675.
675.
665 actually. Yeah.
Yes,
This doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Now Nate, who is the guy who has King Queen? Yeah, he bets 275. Freites here with the boat. This is one of the most gross things ever. So what he does is he grabs calling chips, he shuffles them in his hand, he takes the calling chips, drops them into the middle, and announces raise. And then, as about a millisecond later, he goes, "Oh, I mean call. I mean call. Sorry,
Oh, okay. Oh,
sorry. No English. No English. I don't speak English." Is what he was saying. But
wow.
he knows that when you a verbal's binding. So when you say raise, it's going to be a min raise no matter what, right?
Yep.
Well, the floor gets called over here, and the floor. This is one of the coolest floor rulings I've ever seen. And tell me if you agree. But the floor comes over, and he's talking to the big blind, the guy who has top pair, who had value bet. He
Yeah.
said, "Hey, this guy's got a min raise now because he said raise, even though he said call afterwards and dropped his chips in. I want you to know that this guy did this same exact thing earlier in this tournament and had the nuts."
Wow.
That's what the floor said to the big blind. I couldn't believe it. So he got caught angle shooting earlier in the tournament doing the exact same thing, pulls it again on a televised TV final table. And then the floor, like straight up to the big blind, says, "Hey, this was an angle shoot before, and he had the nuts." Well, the big blind still ends up calling. The guy flips over 5-6 for the boat, and the whole table's jaw just drops, looking at him like, "What a fucking scumbag." Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, thoughts on that one? Obviously, this is like purely intentional.
Hmm.
A very like poor angle shoot, in my opinion. Like it's clear that I mean, and truthfully, if he just made like a normal raise here, he might get a little bit more from his opponent.
Right. Like he only made the min raise.
Yeah.
Um,
So when you announce raise as a misclick, or and then say call, when you raise as a misclick, it's always got to be the minimum. So it can't be any more
yeah, unless you like say an amount. Yeah,
unless
if
you
you
just
just
say the amount.
announce a raise and put out calling chips, it'll be a min raise.
It'll always just be a min raise. So I thought that was a pretty egregious one. Um, the second one here, let's jump to something that is not as clear, intent wise. And I want to know your intention on this. This hand is actually in a high roller with four left. It's the 50K No Limit Hold'em High Roller Bracelet event in the WSOP. A lot of people may be familiar with this one. This hand includes Sam Soverel, Ben Heath, and then Urasov here. Do you remember this hand?
Not off the top of my head, but I
Okay. Well, that's good.
maybe
This
I
one,
will.
yeah, this one was from, I want to say maybe 2 years ago or something like that, 2023 maybe. I don't know exactly.
Oh, is this where Sam Soverel makes it clear to Ben Heath that he's folding?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
because
And
he wants. Yeah.
because he wants Ben to call.
Hmm.
So the action goes as such. Sovereign on 5 million at 200K or 5.4 million, 5.325 to be exact. Um, he raises to 400 under the gun, which is cut off
Yep.
because they're four-handed. He's got Jack nine suited. Now the button Urasov jams what seems to be 25 bigs, just under 25 bigs on the button with Ace 10 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Strategy wise, what do you think? Four-handed.
Which, yeah, by the way, I was gonna say seems unnecessary. I feel like you can
He
three
could just
bet
click.
small or just flat.
I feel like yeah, flatting or raising small and then maybe folding to any four bet action might be like
Yeah, like
cold
ace
four bet
10
action.
suited. Both of these guys at have identical stacks, 4.925 million, and then they're both like way behind the other two stacks.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, ace 10 suited just kind of sucks to
yeah. I understand it's only
like it's
four-handed.
such a good hand and you can just see a flop in position.
I agree. So I agree with that. I thought it was a little too much as well. But so what happens is we'll just say cutoff opens, button jams, folds to the big blind who's tanking. Now this is a tournament where they have time bank cards, right?
Hmm.
Sam has Sam, who's the under the or the cutoff opener, has his head kind of on the table. He's looking at the action. It seems pretty clear that he can see what's going on here. While Ben is thinking, he very slowly grabs one of his time extension cards, which is a red card, not even near his regular cards, and then slowly slides it forward. And it's a red time extension card. Doesn't look like anything like a player card. Sam
Hmm.
then looks down his cards, double checks it, picks him up, and quickly mucks. And then right as he mucks, he goes into this huge act where he's like, oh, like his eyes open up super wide, his jaw drops, like, oh shit, I just acted out of turn. He realized that
Yeah,
Ben Heath didn't muck his cards, he put in a time extension. So
yeah,
so now the issue is that this is going to make an easier call for Ben if he had a serious decision because the original razor is out of the hand. Did that
yeah.
seem explained well?
Yeah, so basically Sam, wanting Ben to call to try and knock out the other player so he can get a pay jump. He he folds out a turn and he does it when Ben Heath puts out his time extension thing and
Yeah,
Sam pretends to think that it's
his
a
cards.
call or his cards,
He
whichever
thinks
one.
he thought Ben was mucking his cards.
Yeah. Which at least this one, yeah. This one is very likely an angle, and I think he has a bit of a reputation for doing some angling. Um,
I'm glad you thought that as well because that was definitely mine. So I would almost argue that it could be not intentional until that I saw his acting. If you guys are
right.
interested in seeing it, like go type in should Sam Soverel be disqualified? Oh, it's from the 2019 World Series of Poker. So it's actually been holy crap, time
Been a little
flies.
while
Doesn't even
since
feel like it was that long ago. But yeah, I think his acting, I think, is what gives it away. He's like, oh my gosh, like just like it just
like
seemed
right away.
disingenuine. Um, yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, he folds. Now that makes Ben's decision to call easier with the Ace Queen of Hearts in the big blind. I will say that Ben is probably going with this anyways, four-handed.
Yeah, I agree.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, what if here's the thing, like what if Heath had ace jack suited? I think it would be a lot less clear
Hmm.
and a lot easier of a decision though once he knows that the original razor folded.
Yeah. So, what do you think should be the like how do you, you know, how do you get rid of stuff like this as the WSOP or as any organization? Any
You can't. I think the only thing you can do is just severely punish players who do it.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's like how
Yeah,
do you
like
punish this
yeah. I mean, and
without having proof of intent, you know?
yeah, I mean, even without proof of intent, I think that severely punishing players will make sure that people are paying enough attention to
Yeah,
avoid those
like
penalties.
folding out a turn, right, like giving penalties. Do you know if he got a penalty?
I don't remember if he got a penalty or not. I think he definitely deserves one in this spot. His opponent was livid. His opponent went up to his rail before the board even came out and was just like you could just tell I don't he wasn't speaking English, but he was just you could just tell he was livid and bitching to his friends like this mother.
Yeah.
I think that here's the thing. If you act out a turn, I think it can be worthy of a warning if there's not significant action in front of you. Just like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, say
Yeah, absolutely.
you're at a normal table and you just fold out a turn. Not a big deal. You should get a warning. But in this situation where there's an all in and it can significantly alter the outcome, I think that is definitely worth a severe penalty. At least, I mean, here's the thing. It's like what that penalty should be, I don't think I'm qualified to say, but at least a minimum in orbit, but maybe probably more.
Yeah, maybe two. I guess like I would even say, even though it's not a big deal earlier in tournaments, like maybe, you know, that shouldn't be left up to the discretion. Like there should just be a penalty that's always enforced. And that, you know, like that could I think I did it a couple weeks ago where, you know, granted someone folded out a turn in front of me and I saw them fold. So maybe me or maybe both of us or maybe just the first person. But yeah, I folded out a turn after someone else folded
I've
out a
done that
turn right in
many
front of me.
times too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've done that as well.
So
Um,
I
that
think
is
like
us not paying full attention, though, to be clear.
yeah, and I think like just you know the casino should enforce this stuff a little more strictly, even though most of the time it doesn't really make a difference.
I agree.
Like it shouldn't be up to the discretion of the tournament official to be like, oh, this one was a big deal, but you know, it just
I don't know if
and
it's possible, but I would love to see, somehow a way to keep tabs or track of a player who's done things numerous times so
mhm,
that the penalties can increase in severity.
accumulate. Yeah,
Yeah. So like for example, the title of this video is Should Sam Soverel be disqualified? Well,
yeah,
in my opinion, no. He should not be disqualified. However, if this is something he's notoriously done over and over, then yes, I think he should, right? So,
hmm
like, if it seems like an honest mistake, I mean, that gives a little leeway for people um, whose intent is not actually bad.
right. There's like so in the NBA, NBA playoffs are going on right now, and I don't know exactly what the rule. I think it's like if you earn a certain amount of technical foul points or like flagrant foul point, you get like 1 point for a flagrant two. Sorry, two for a flagrant foul, one for a technical foul, and if you get up to like 4 points in the playoffs, then you have to miss a game.
Yep.
So like the egregious, whether it's like you know arguing with the ref too much or sportsmanship type foul, or like the flagrant foul, meaning like a over the top physical foul.
Yep.
It's discouraging those in the playoffs because like um those are the type of fouls you really don't want, and so but it's like an accumulation. If you throughout the playoffs, if you accumulate enough, you know, points, so to speak, you actually have to miss a game. And so if there was something similar like that in poker, where it's like all live tournaments could kind of keep track of who's accumulating, you know, first off, they enforce these penalties, and second off, they keep track of who's getting them. And then like if you get enough penalties, then the next one gets that much worse, you know, when it becomes clear that it's a
Yeah.
pattern from someone and not just like a couple
I
mistakes.
think there's got to be a way to develop that. I can't create it in the next 10 seconds to explain it, but
Of course,
everybody,
yeah. Plus, it's like,
just share
you
a
know, you
Google,
have
all casinos just share a Google Sheets doc.
right. It's not like, you know, WSOP, Rough Riders, MSPT, and WPT are all just going to like share notes on that sort of thing. Run good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all have their own series,
Yeah.
but
But I think word travels though. So here's the like while it's not um maybe not kept as valid as we want it to be, word travels by mouth well enough to where people, if people are notorious for doing something like that, um most people will find out or know about it playing against them.
absolutely.
Uh
But
yeah.
if you know, if nothing's gonna happen to him, then
I hate that angle shooting is a part of the game, but it is.
it
And
in a weird way though, it's also kind of part of poker. Like
it
poker is
is
the sort of
it's a
game
game
where
of
it's not
deception, right?
completely, yeah. It's like who's to say what sort of, granted, when you're deceiving by maybe not, but like in this case, Sam Saverell actually did break a rule, but he just made it look like an accident.
Yeah.
And then in the last one, the other guy, the raise, I mean call, like, did he break a rule? Not really. Um,
But it right, but and I kind of mentioned that, I clear, he clearly had the intent of being deceptive. But again,
yeah,
and I guess there's a fine line, how to articulate it, I'm not too sure, but of like the nature of the game and then being outside of the nature of the game, right? And that's like
yeah,
outside of like the qualities of the game,
yeah,
if that
it
makes
is.
sense. But
Oh, it absolutely does.
now we actually have our third hand here is going to be probably the most common one I've run into, especially at the WSOP. It doesn't happen. Don't get me wrong. When I say common, it's not like happening every time I play, but it's one that's very common. And coincidentally, I actually had not seen this one before, but this comes from Mr. Daniel Negreanu. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this was intentional or not, but my gut is telling me it is. And before we get into the hand, I will say that they are deep in the tournament already. He knows the denominations of the chips. I haven't even explained the angle yet, but the reasons why I think it's intentional is he knows the denominations of the chips and then is acting after the fact. So to get into the angle here, it folds to Mr. Daniel on the button. He's got about 350,000 in chips, which tells us that they're in the later stages of the tournament, right?
Yep.
He has ace king off. Um, and I think the big blind has him covered. The blinds are what if what would the blinds be if he's raises 11x and it's 45,000? That would be
2-4.
2-4, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was
two.
thinking it was going to be 1-2, and he meant to make it 4,500, but
Yeah, so the blinds are 2-4K. He raises to 45,000. And then as he drops the chip, he goes, "Oh, oops." And he does this like little Daniel Negreanu laugh.
yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, 29,000." And then his opponent from the table is like, "That's 45,000." And he's like, "Oh, so you acted like he got it wrong
he,
twice."
he acted like he was just flustered the whole time.
Let's remind you who this is. This is Daniel Negreanu. At this point, he's got multiple WSOP bracelets. He's a well-known pro.
Oh, and he's an old school guy who they probably, this, all the speech play, all the live stuff, like that's a big thing for his sort
His
of
era.
generation of
Yeah,
poker.
for
Yeah.
sure. And this is 2013, so this is kind of almost as, this is pre-GTO era, kind of still, it's like the
Like right.
transitional era of like old school to new school.
Yeah.
I don't think
This
he
is
would do this.
before he had his, hair stuff done, it looks like.
Yeah, I could see his hair is a little wild. But anyways, he makes it 45,000, which is 11x on the button. Now, Daniel's a seasoned, a veteran pro, right? Like he knows what's going on here.
Yeah.
It folds to the big blind who has king jack of clubs and has Daniel covered. And the big blind squeeze jams, trying to punish Daniel's oversized open because Daniel's like, "Oh, I raised 11x, oops," and he gets
Yeah.
king jack of clubs to just rip it on him for
Oh
piles
no.
of big blinds, and Daniel goes, "High call." Again, this is probably the most common misclick is misrepresenting your betting size when you're
Yeah.
opening pre-flop.
Yeah, look, actually, so this is a really important one. And this is one where I don't think there should be a punishment. Like, this is one that you see somewhat regularly.
Yeah.
So here I'll tell a similar story. Level one of the WSOP main event. So the blinds start at 1 in 200, and most people would know, but there's like 100 chips that are 100, 500, 1K, 5K, and I think you even start with a 25K, maybe not, but regardless. So someone opens to 600 using a 500 and a 100. Then someone, without saying anything, puts out a 5,000 and a 100.
Which is
And
a raise no matter what.
right, which is a raise to 5,100, which is huge. A normal three bet versus a raise to 600, depending on position, could be like 2K or 2,400, somewhere
Yeah.
around that. But
Yeah.
um, so and then the action just folded and the guy won the pot. But he definitely did a little like, oh, oops type thing after it. And here's the thing, like, and most listeners will know this, but in poker, even the least experienced players know that you're supposed to not like just give away what you're doing to people. So like when someone acts super surprised like that, it's so frequently going to be
Them trying to
on purpose.
exploit you.
Yeah, them trying to pretend to be surprised. And I've seen
That's
this.
so well said. I'm glad you brought that up. That is probably the most important thing. Like if I make a misclick, I'm gonna and it's like an unintentional misclick, I'm going to not do anything to convey that it's a misclick.
Yeah. And we both, he and I, made it to the end of day one, and guess what? I overheard him saying to someone else who made it through from our table. He's like, huh, you know what I had when I made it 5,100 on level one? Pocket kings. And I remember thinking like, we know, like, no, that surprises
Oh,
nobody.
oh, yeah. And of course, he made that thing. So I think this is one that our listeners can probably watch out for the most at the WSOP or in just live poker in general. And again, these are all kind of things you see in live poker, not in online. So
Yeah. Um, actually online you could, if someone's raising to 2.5 big blinds, they could make it 25, you know?
no, you can see that, but you're never going to get that verbal confirmation from them.
Yeah.
That oops, like and then, what you
Yeah.
will see online though is people like playing a hand terribly or bluffing a hand terribly get called and then just start saving face by that was a misclick in chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
little rats, I tell you, they're everywhere.
so I will say, and tell me your thoughts on this one, but I think this one is actually fine. Like there shouldn't be a rule against it because it is, you're not like, you are making a legal bet, you know?
I
Um,
would agree and disagree with you. I think that, maybe a penalty, there's probably not a way to penalize this because there's no way to really prove it. I think it's still poor form, in my opinion.
I, I agree
The,
when
the,
it
the
comes
poor
from a
form,
guy like Negreanu. Like when an amateur player does it at the World Series, I'm kind of like, okay, like good try. I don't think you're fooling anybody. When it
yeah.
comes from a, very well
Daniel, the
known
most
pro,
popular poker player of all time.
yeah, when it comes from him, I would be sort of like, really, like that. I don't know. But again, like, you, just because the standard raise is 2x or a little over 2x, you're very much allowed to just go 11x if you want. And
100%. But that's not the issue. The issue is the
is that
way
he's,
he reacts to it by acting like it was an accident,
yes, yeah.
which
It,
then
it
in which then makes the big blind incentivizes the big blind to try and re-exploit him to take that 11 big blinds down. So that's why he jams the king jack of clubs because he's like, well, Daniel's weak. He accidentally opened to 11x. He's just gonna fold all the time here. Now I'm gonna
mhm.
jam. I mean, you could,
Yeah,
anyways.
I guess the biggest difference between this and the first one is, in the first one, the guy was expressing his intent to try and change his action,
Hmm.
whereas in this case, yes, it is like deceptive to say like, oh, haha, like make it seem like you're flustered that you made it a certain amount, but like at least in this case, it was just like, okay, this is clearly what the bet is. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, like I certainly I think this does cross that line of like a little bit bad form.
Look at that smirk on Daniel's face there. That's just the rattiest smirk I've ever seen. I like Daniel, but sheesh, that's poor
Yeah.
form. Let's do this. I have an idea.
Mhm.
For the listeners out there, as long as you're not driving, pause this episode. Go to, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, click send us a message at the top of our Spotify or Apple page there, and let us know what you think. If this is poor form or not. If you think this is an appropriate angle or just bad for the game in general, or if you're in our Discord, go in there and send us a message too. I would like to hear the feedback on that, on what you think about this hand. So, yeah, send us a message. Just so you know, if you are sending us a message through Spotify or Apple, we are not able to respond. It doesn't tell us who you are. It's all anonymous, but we do get the messages. So, yeah, feel free to utilize that feature. I always think it's cool getting fan mail from people, whether it's, telling us we suck or that they like us, whatever it is.
Either one works.
Yeah. And while I'm at it, you know what? Why don't you leave us a 5-star review, because that really helps us on the search engine. If you type in poker strategy podcast or poker podcast, the more likes and better reviews we get, the higher and faster we pop up to people and are more visible. So we appreciate it if you take the time to do that as well.
We do.
All right, so that's it for that hand with Daniel Negreanu. We have a few more. Um, this one's from a cash game from Hustler Casino Live. Many of you remember Poker Bunny. I haven't heard from her in a long time, but she's like, a younger, attractive female who was very polarizing, mostly in the terms of that people didn't like her. Do you remember Poker Bunny?
Yeah, I actually played with her last year in the main event.
You told me that. I remember
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Well, what do you think? You thought she was pretty good,
She
if I remember right.
Yeah, she seemed to play well. She didn't I mean, she was pretty quiet. Like there was nothing
Okay.
unusual.
Okay.
So,
No big deal. However, I think this is a and this is gonna kind of align with the last one with Daniel Negreanu. But what happens here is opponent in the cutoff opens King 10-0. And then Poker Bunny in the big blind with a 6-7 of hearts, 3 bets. Sizing does not matter here, okay?
yep.
The flop comes 6-7-10. So Poker Bunny, who 3-bet from the big blind, flops bottom two, and the opponent who opened and called the 3-bet flops top pair with a king kicker. Now, Poker Bunny checks. I think this is a great spot to just c-bet and build a pot, especially with bottom two pair, but she checks. Again, this isn't a strategy episode, but what do
Yeah.
you think?
I can go both ways because this is a board where a
Check
decent
raising
amount of
might
your
be
three
good.
bet range is gonna not like this would seem to favor the calling range more than the 3-bet
Yeah.
range.
I agree with that.
I
I
can go
guess,
both ways. Like
but they're just
I would
they're
imagine this is
hundreds of big blinds deep, I think.
yeah. I could see going either way with it.
Okay. All right. Well, what happens is the guy who has King 10 bets 39 into what would be 6K, I think.
Yep.
5,900, something like that. And
I
then
wasn't even gonna correct it because you were close. But
all
yeah,
right.
yeah, 5,900.
All right. Poker Bunny now in the big blind has $26,500 in her stack. The opponent has over 200K. Um, she's got 26,500. And what she does here is she kind of takes some time and she says all in. And then right after she goes all in, she like fumbles back and she's like, "No, I didn't mean all in." Oh, and she tried to act like all in was too much after she already made the decision and said all in, and she was trying to make it like trying to say, "Oops, I didn't mean all in. I just meant to raise." So like the whole verbal thing here, and then so the floor comes over and is like, "You have to stay all in," but she was
Yep.
feigning kind of the strength of her hand here. What do you think? So obviously King 10 ends up calling
Yeah.
with top pair, but and she's ahead with two pair, but she tried to she goes all in and then tries to take her all in back and just make it a raise essentially.
Yeah, I guess I don't even
Angle or not an angle?
it's probably an angle.
Yeah.
It might not be.
I mean, it's
but like
just it has to be, right? Because she's
it
like,
has to be.
yeah, she's trying to feign the strength of her hand by doing that, I feel like.
Like, oh no,
Oh
I
shit,
thought
I
I
shouldn't
had
have
them.
gone all in, yeah, because if I get
Yeah.
called, I'm screwed.
Yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense if you, I mean, it does a bit, but it doesn't because it's like, oh, if you're gonna check raise, are you gonna fold to an all in then? Like, what are you really trying to tell your opponent?
Yeah.
I guess it's like it does look a little bit weak. Um,
I think that's it. It's feigning weakness,
yeah,
essentially. And
I
and
I
yeah.
I will say like it's tough to have a rule against this, um, because anyone who did this like this is one where the intent is hard to like you're not breaking a rule. You know, the
I
all in
agree
bet
with you on this
stands.
one. But again, I
It
would
is
be
in bad taste for
it's in
sure.
bad taste, exactly, and I would be mindful of future pots with her because of that. She's capable of doing things like that. But there is justice in poker. We'll just say that because the board obviously she has bottom two and he's got top pair. Well, the board runs out 5-5, counterfeiting her two pair,
So
and
King 10 wins.
and
Yeah.
she busts. So that one again, very similar to Daniel's, where it's like, oops, I didn't mean to make this sizing, and because of that, I'm probably weak. Um,
Yeah. Where right, where it's like there was no rule broken. It's tough to enforce. Like the one um the one where Sovereign folded out a turn. That's one where like he actually did, you know, even if it was unintentional, he did break a rule. So
yeah.
like that one you can actually just enforce a penalty. Um, but yeah, that's tough. That's
Yeah,
annoying.
and the breaking the rule is acting out of turn for those listening.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
acting out of turn is a rule, and if you do that, you will get penalized most of the time.
Hmm.
So where the other ones, like, there's no, yeah. So, anyways, we have one more hand to go over here. This one I remember happening as well. Um, this is at Live at the Bike. It's got Ryan. It's between Ryan Feldman and Armenian Mike. Do you remember this hand? This one is just silly,
I
honestly.
don't
This
remember it, but I do remember both these names.
Okay, so Ryan Feldman is actually the producer of Live at the Bike. So he's the
Okay.
guy that kind of rounds up these players and gets them to play in this game. He produces the show, right? Well, so they're in a pot. There were like six ways to the turn. And the board is 7-4 King 10, okay?
Yep.
The turn brings in two hearts. Not that it matters in any way. Ryan Feldman has King 7 for top and middle pair. He flopped top and middle pair. Armenian Mike has Ace Queen of Diamonds, so he just has a gutter to the nutter.
Hmm.
On the turn, Armenian says, anyways, on the turn, Ryan bets 300 into whatever, 300 into like, I think, oh yeah, 300 into, I think, like 300 actually. It was a pot size
Yeah.
bet. He bet 300 into 300, so there's 600 in the pot. Armenian Mike makes the call and announces, if I hit my card, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Well, everybody else folds, so they're now heads up, and the river brings the king of hearts. So now Ryan Feldman has, kings full of sevens,
Hmm.
and he checks. I think when Armenian Mike says, "If I hit my card, you're in trouble," tells Ryan that he doesn't have a king of any sense. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It tells him
It's
that
like
he's on a
it's almost
draw.
like there's one card. Like he in this case, it's like, yeah, if he hits a jack, or it sounds like he has a gut shot. Like there's
Yeah,
one
he
card
has a
I need.
draw, right? Like a heart or a gut shot. Like he
Yep.
has a flush draw or
It does sound like a draw.
yeah.
And a lot some savvy players will say this sort of thing when they have a made hand. Like some
Be
people are
careful,
smart,
right?
but
Yeah.
I do find that most people when they say stuff like this are actually sort of being honest.
Most of the time that has been my understanding as well. And you do have to be careful because some really like meta angle shooters will will say that with a nutted type hand to make you think they're on a draw.
Hmm.
So, anyways, there's $900 in the pot. Ryan, knowing, I feel like because Armenian Mike said that and knowing that he missed his draw, Ryan checks to try and
Yep.
induce a bluff.
Smart.
And Armenian Mike takes his whole rack. He has that $10,000 in chips in a
Oh, I remember
plastic
this.
rack
Yeah.
and puts it in the middle. And Ryan Feldman just snap throws chips in as a call. And
Mhm.
Armenian Mike immediately takes his rack, pulls it back, and says, "I'm just kidding."
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. So he ended up losing the whole stack, right?
So yeah, he did end up losing it, but here's the thing: it's like they were chatting I mean, this went on for a few minutes about what should happen. Armenian Mike is arguing, "I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. What do you want? Do you want this money? I'm just kidding. You know this is a joke." Well, they're like, "Mike, you did this to two other people earlier in one pot." So it's like if he folded, you would have taken the pot. But now that he
Yep.
called, you're obviously trying to say it's a joke. So Armenian Mike is just being a piece of shit here.
Yeah, some it's another lesson is I mean, people in general, but there some poker players are scumbags. And I think if you're looking, granted, like a lot of really awesome people that we know in poker, but I would say in the poker world, the scumbag to good person ratio is a little bit higher than your average world.
I agree
Uh,
because we're
they're
playing for money.
playing for a lot of money,
Yeah.
and there's it's a game of deception. There's yeah.
Yeah. They
Anyways,
fit right in the poker world, the
they
scumbags.
do, they do.
um, but yeah, so anyways, I think I also want to talk about the procedure of what happened here and how bad it was. So obviously Ryan Feldman is the producer of the show. Garrett Adelstein's there. Ryan starts asking Garrett, he's like, "Garrett, what should I do here? Should I take his money or not?" I think the clear answer is yes, take his money. He bet trying to, first off, he could have just taken 1K or something like that and bluffed. That would have worked just fine. But instead, he put
As a
over,
bluff, yeah.
over 10x pot. He just throws the whole rack in. Garrett's like, that money goes to Ryan. Like, you bet that he called. That's his pot. Now, what I find the most frustrating is that the floor gets called over and the floor puts the decision on Ryan to say if he wants to take the money or not. Where the floor is the one that should just give the ruling, like, "Hey,
Yeah, the
you
floor
made
should be like that was a bet.
that was
Yeah.
a bet and that was a call. You give the money." Now
Obviously, if
he,
Ryan, yeah, it's obviously if Ryan is like, "Hey, I'm happy to give it back," like that is on you. You always have that option as a person, but like the floor should not come over and be like deferring to him. It's like no, the rule is he put the bet out.
well,
It's a bet,
and like Ryan should never give it back anyways because dude was trying to be like be a
right?
dickhead. You know what I
And
mean?
it's
And
clear
say
if
it
he
was
had done that
joking.
twice before
Yeah, and he's
and
done
it
it
counted as a
prior.
bet.
Yeah, and they
Mhm.
made that very clear. So ultimately, the 10K rack went to Ryan, and Armenian Mike stormed off. And I don't know if that was the end of Armenian Mike or not. I never watched much of Live at the Bike, but
Yeah. Well,
I
that's good.
he got punished severely. He lost 10K in a $900 pot, and he deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one was like yeah, the angle was almost after the like he was just trying to
This one's not so much of an angle shoot as the other ones. The angle was I'm
right like
kidding.
the yeah like it was clearly just a bet the whole time and then yeah
Yeah.
so
So yeah, the angle wasn't in the action. It was just in the way he reacted to getting called.
yeah
But yeah, I mean,
absolutely
but the rules are very clear. He's got to lose that 10K, and for being so dumb, he deserves to lose all that 10K and being an asshole by
agreed
saying
agreed
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, and he's like, "Let me ask you a question, Ryan. You want my money? Yes or no?" And it's like Ryan is the producer of this game. Like he's trying to get these guys, back in the game and develop relationships with these players. So he's trying to then also guilt him into saying, "Well, no, like sorry, but Ryan just doesn't know how to respond. He's like, I don't know what to say, Mike. Like
right
you're an idiot."
yeah it's like right as Ryan it would be easy to feel sort of taken advantage here
Yeah,
taken
but
advantage of
there are an infinite amount of angles. Maybe not infinite, but there's a lot. And I think that as you get ready for the WSOP and sit down, especially if you're a newer player, just be a little bit more aware of what people are doing, but don't be too quick to call people out on angling.
there are just going to be some recreationals that don't I remember I think 3 years ago I was in this 1K freeze out. It was a great starting table. Um, and there's this guy from like Indiana. He had, these little sunglasses on. He had the backwards hat, and he was like taking it seriously. And there's one hand where, yeah, like someone bet 300, and He puts out 300 and says raise, and his intention is clearly to decide how much to raise, but he, nowadays the rule on that is if you put out a call and say raise, or if you put out
You
a
got to say
small
raise first.
no, he did, but
Okay.
the rule is it's just a min raise if you say raise and you put out a call. In the past, you were able to do that and then decide on how much you were going to
I was
raise
gonna
once.
say in a lot of the old footage, that's like what they did was
That is
they would say raise, put out the calling chips, and then put out the raising chips separately.
right. And I remember back in like 2013 when I was playing high school games with my friends, my buddy would do that because he was the one who would watch
You mean
the
daycare games with your baby friends?
pretty much. And so immediately what I could tell from that guy was this was not an angle. This was him, like, he probably had played, this was maybe his first World Series of Poker
That
tournament.
was from his era. That's probably what he watched a ton of.
Right. Like his poker experience mostly stems from watching these old videos. And it was almost like either he saw it as like the cool way, or like he thought that was like how the pros did it. So that's how he did it. But clearly he had like just not played in a tournament,
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't like an angle. It was just me figuring out like, oh, this guy like doesn't really
It might
play.
take a second to kind of to unlock, to learn what it is, to think about it and figure out if its intention is everything, right? And I do want to say, like, if you're a listener to this, don't be an angle shooter like that. Like, play to the true nature of the game, the competitive nature of the game. I mean, there's enough. If you wanna be deceptive, check raise someone. You know what I mean?
There's enough. Yeah, there's enough deception built into the game.
Yeah,
Um,
into the actual game, right? And I do want to say one more thing too. I was looking up, as I was doing some research for this episode, it talked about a lot of angling was speech play, and I want to say that like while yes, like speech play can be an angle, especially like in the case where Daniel's like, oh, oops, like didn't mean to make it this size, although he clearly did there, in my opinion. Players like Blake Bond and stuff like that. I wouldn't say like, someone saying, we all know you're going to, because Blake would just tilt people. Like, we all know you're folding anyway, and then talk him into a call by saying stuff like that. I think that should be involved in the game. I love that stuff. I love, you know,
yeah,
speech play. Is there an argument to that, or do you agree with that?
I think it's fine to have it in the game. I also would say I think most people, the more they talk, the more they give away.
You got to be
Like,
good at it.
yeah, like I think most people actually hurt themselves by trying to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely with some exceptions, and it can be, if you're up against someone who is really good with the speech play, maybe you just like. I mean, what I tend to do is I just like don't engage.
Yeah.
I know playing against Martin Zamani at the World Series. I mean, he's really good at. He'll just like it's not even like about the hand. He'll just like try and say something to you every time you're in a pot. Just any little reaction, any sort of vibe he can pick up, um, is going to be helpful. And so
Yeah. I think
it is
there's a
part of
skill.
poker.
Yeah. There's a skill set in that for sure. And like you said, I think a lot of opponents who are not good at it will end up giving away more information than benefiting themselves. So,
Hmm.
um, Wes, that is all I have for angle shooting. I do want to discuss one more thing that is kind of juicy.
Okay.
The first time it's ever happened to me at the poker table, I was accused of cheating.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, did I? I didn't. I don't think I explained the full scenario, did I?
I don't know if you did.
I don't think I did. I think you
Yeah.
asked and then I forgot to. I think that's what happened. I might be wrong, but you want to hear the deets?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
All right. So I'm at the Canterbury 400 multi-flight tournament. I think that's what the tournament it was.
Hmm.
Had it. Here's the thing to those listeners who aren't from Minnesota. Canterbury is our local casino. Everybody knows everybody for the most part. There's a few players who come that are newer or from out of state that you might not know too well. So we're nine-handed at this table. I know seven of them, and then I don't know the eighth person who's directly to my left. I know everybody else at the table except for the person to my direct left. To the direct left of him is Mr. Rodney Colson. Hey, shout out to Rodney, by the way, who just won the $800 spring main
Yeah.
event. I mean,
what a run.
we love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. So shout out to you, Rod. But actually, Rod is also accused of cheating in this hand. We were accused of um,
Collusion.
collusion. Yeah, colluding here in this hand. So what happens is Rod's under the gun. The opponent I don't know is in the big blind, and I'm in the small blind. So we're all at that end of the table, right? So Rod's 9, he's 8, I'm 7 seat. Folds to me in the small blind. Hand details don't matter too much. Um, I think I had some just what do they call it? What did we say that was? The shit triangle or the
Yeah, you had complete air.
I had
Shit
just
triangle
dust.
hand.
I had dust in my hand, but I ended up just completing. So I flatted, and he checks back the big blind. The flop comes again. It doesn't matter here. It's like Jack 5-3 or something like that. I check, or no, I lead one big blind with complete air, and he calls, and then the rest of the hand checks all the way down to the river,
Yep.
and that's it. He ended up rivering a pair and winning. He called me with king high
Yep.
on the flop. Um, and then so where the cheating allegation comes in is at after that hand's over, he's now the small blind, and he's refusing to put the small blind in until the floor comes over and won't say anything. And everybody at the table is kind of like, what the heck's going on? Like, he's like, floor, I need the floor. I'm not putting the small blind until the floor comes over. And we're all like, oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So the floor finally comes over, and we have no idea what's going on. And the guy looks up to the floor and he goes, these two are cheating in the middle of the hand while we're playing the last hand, and points at Rod and myself. And I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
how are Rod and I cheating in a hand where we weren't even in it together?
Yeah. So he must think that Rod saw his cards and signaled them to you.
N- Maybe in a sense. So I'll explain exactly what was said. So he told the floor that Rod was mouthing things to me in the middle of the hand.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I never saw Rod say anything or mouth anything. I wasn't paying attention to Rod. I was paying attention to my opponent in the hand.
Yeah.
Secondly, Rod was like, I never said anything. I was singing I was just singing the song that's playing in because Canterbury has kind of loud music.
Yeah.
He was singing the song
Yeah.
like under his breath, like
And
humming it.
also, you know what else occurs to me is if he rivered the pair, but you check turn, like if you knew what his hand was,
I would have
you would bluff the turn too.
100% would have bluffed the turn. Exactly. So
Yeah, like this makes no
it
sense.
doesn't make sense. And what it makes even less sense is that he starts talking to the floor and he's like, Kari, he's like, I have been slow playing all my hands. And Rod was telling Max, he didn't say our names because he doesn't know our names, but he's like, Rod was telling Max that I'm under his breath that I've been slow playing and have these big hands that I've just been flatting them. So that's what he was conveying to him. And I was just like, what the hell? Like everybody at the table was like, is this real? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing. And then Kari just looks at the guy and she's like, you're telling me information that isn't really necessary. Like she pulled it, but she did her job. She pulled us all off to the side, and got all of our takes on it. And ultimately nothing happened because there was actually no cheating that happening. But the guy thought because Rod was singing under his breath that he was assisting me in the hand some way. So just
Yeah.
wanted to share that fun one with you.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's so
You definitely hadn't told me that.
yeah.
You definitely had not told me what the accused cheating was, but that's
I
well,
think
anyways.
I think that if one thing I want to mention is don't be afraid if you think someone's cheating, don't be afraid to bring it up to the floor. But I wouldn't, without hard evidence, just go accusing people of it. Like if you see it, maybe make note of it, or if you see it happening multiple times, um, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Anyways,
know.
I don't know either. I think I don't want to dissuade. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
I don't want, I want people to speak up if they think people are cheating, definitely. But to just falsely accuse people is also not a great idea. So make sure you have some good evidence if you do that. Anyways, wanted to share that. Wes, before we wrap up for the day, how's the bankroll challenge going?
It's pretty good. It feels like it could be so much better too.
You started at 10K, you're running it up
10K.
to 100K. It's been a little over 2 months.
It's been 3 months.
Okay.
I'm just over 30K. I peaked at like 32.7K. So averaging, over 6K a month so far, which is good. Literally last night I was like in fourth out of 10 in this big 110. There was 9,300 up top. I got it in. It's a button jams. I'm in small blind with ace king suited. I call. He has 6-7 suited. He makes a flush. I'm down to point something big blind. I actually double up. Like I win two more pots and then get rivered in a third one. But so I get 10 for like 665. And oh man, it was I do really feel like I've had several of these runs. And granted, I've won some tournaments, I've gotten some big finishes, but like there have been these tournaments where there's a lot of money up top where I just have finished, in the 8th through 12th place range a lot. And it's on that side of things, it's been a little frustrating. Overall, it's still going well, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm playing really well. I feel like I'm
I'm glad to hear
making
that. I mean,
progress.
you've told me that streaming your poker has helped you stay focused more too, and maybe has helped you
It,
make better decisions in the long run.
I think it has.
I think that having viewers might help in a sense where it helps keep you accountable.
It does. It does. And yeah, a little obviously like my own financial interests are some accountability, but this adds a little bit too.
Yeah, I could agree
And
with that.
so yeah, it's been going well overall. You know, for those who are not as familiar, like I am trying to manage a bankroll of 10K into 100. I'm just trying to show people that it can be done basically.
Yeah,
And I'm staying within bankroll constraints of 125 buy-ins for a tournament, 40 buy-ins for a cash game. It's been going well, and I will continue to be streaming that. Follow me at the Poker Cannon on Twitch.
there'll be a link in the description wherever you're listening to this, where you can click and follow him or just watch him. He streams pretty regularly, from what I've seen.
There will be. And yeah, so that's been going well. Are we going to be doing a giveaway for the MSPT this weekend? Did we
Hmm. You know
the
what?
pro
Yeah, let's do it. There's 4 flights, right?
Yeah, and so here's the thing though, is this episode is going to come out the morning of day 1A.
Yep.
So we'll tweet this out too. Right after we record this, we'll put out the word. But are we going to do what we discussed before a
Was
few
that
days?
for just give away a hoodie for each day?
Yeah, so we still have some hoodies, some Suited Kings merch to give away, some hoodies.
Some Suited Kings Tilted Compass collaboration hoodies.
Yep. And so I think what we want to do is to we're going to say send us your guess for how many entries there are going to be for each individual flight of the MSPT in Battle Creek, Michigan this weekend, and for the total amount of entries. And so we're going to give away 4 hoodies, one for the person who's closest on day 1A, then day 1B, then day 1C, and then the whole tournament, right?
Yep.
And
Forget what letters go in what order there.
it's, the ABC. It's been a while since I learned them. Um, So send us your guesses, preferably on Discord.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we're gonna keep the rule where you have to be a Discord member to be
Have to be a
eligible.
Discord member, so make sure to join our Discord. Direct message us with your guess. Actually, should we make a direct mess? Yeah, direct message us with your guess, or if you see our Twitter post, should we allow them to guess as a comment on there as well?
You can guess there. And look, if someone's not a Discord member now and they guess on Twitter, just before we send you that, make sure you get on Discord and join our group. Like
I
that
think
that
that's
is a
fair.
requirement, but like if you bank it, if you guess correctly, we're not going to be like, "Oh, you weren't a Discord member before."
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I agree with you. Our Discord, a link to join our Discord is completely free. It's in the description of this. Make sure to join in there. Obviously, as I've said in every episode we've released, that it's a great place for you to learn, to meet people who love poker, to see, discuss strategy, discuss upcoming events, and discuss just anything poker related. So make sure to
yeah.
join our Discord, and then we'll do this giveaway, and that'll be a prerequisite to winning one of our hoodies. We did give away 4 or 5 hoodies last week to people who we've sent all those out now. So congrats to those winners.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so just to clarify too, day 1A starts at it's noon Eastern time on Thursday. So it's 11 a.m. Central time. So your guesses should be in before then. If you guess after 11 a.m. Central time, the day this comes out, you will not be eligible to win the day 1A. You could still guess day 1B, C, and we'll
Yeah.
let you guess the total amount, even though you might be able to get a little insight into that, but we're not,
But they can guess all 4 flights, right?
Well, if you guess after the start of day 1A, you're not eligible to win day 1A.
Okay.
I think
Well, it's all time stamped, so we'll be able to see based on
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
that's not a problem. But anyways, yeah, that sounds good. Secondly, we have our club's meetup game tonight. By the time this comes out, unfortunately, whoever's hearing this will not be able to get to play in that one because it is Tuesday tonight. However, we will have our next meetup game. And I would love for you guys to join. It's a 55 sweeps coin buy-in on May 27th. That's Tuesday, May 27th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have our next meetup game. Make sure to get in there. Winner always gets the sweet Discord gold tag that they can strut around when they're commenting and chatting with other people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, you know what? Let's throw in a hoodie to the winner of next times.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
I
so
like
if you
that.
play on the 27th, the winner will also get
$60 of value right
it's
there.
a $60 value hoodie. This thing is super comfortable. It's Tilted Compass
you
brand.
choose. We also have t-shirts and long sleeve shirts. So you get to choose one Suited Kings item.
Color, you get to choose the color, if it's a shirt or if it's a hoodie. Yeah. And
actually, no, maybe I take that back. We do have some free hoodies to give away that were generously donated. So
that's right.
It'll be a hoodie.
I think this is a perfect time to plug that. If you go to Tilted Compass's website, we now have hoodies, shirts, long sleeves, all that good stuff. Multiple different types of Suited Kings merch for you to get into. Make sure to check the link in the description for Tilted Compass's website. If you click on their apparel tab, there'll be a Suited Kings X Tilted Compass link where you can see all of our merch that we've made with them. If you want to support the podcast and just wear some sweet, comfortable hoodies and stuff while you play poker, make sure to get in there, buy some gear. It also will be very comfortable while you're playing at the WSOP this summer in that cold room. So make sure to check that out. Get that merch.
You'll look sexy too. So
yeah, you look, unless you're Wes. But
I'll still look sexier though in a Suited Kings hoodie.
That is true. You will, even if as ugly as you are. That is facts. So, anything I'm missing, Wes?
Our Patreon.
Discord, we got clubs, we got merch, all that good stuff. Anyways, guys, yeah, just make sure if you enjoyed this podcast, to make sure to give us a.
Did you hear what I just said?
No.
Our Patreon.
Haha, Patreon. That's right. My brain. Anyways, yeah, guys, our Patreon. Yeah. If you're looking to improve your game, at a very low cost of $15 a month, or even cheaper, $5 a month for just a supporter program. But for $15 a month, we release episodes every week that are strategy based, that you can actually give input into helping us create content generated specifically for you through our Discord Patreon channel in there. But we drop videos every week of strategy, and it's a great way for you to improve your game if you enjoy the way that Wes and I teach. So make sure to join our Patreon. Again, link for that in the description of wherever you're listening. Wes, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think the Patreon is an awesome resource for those of you who are wanting to improve your game. Maybe you don't want to pay for either private coaching or those,
which can be $100 plus an hour
trainings. Yeah, the training sites that are more expensive. Granted, we're not going to give you the full, all the content that a training site would, but we give you a couple of videos per week of different types of spots or different specific hands, maybe a tournament review, hand reviews, etc. I've been doing some solver work on there. I just recorded one yesterday that I actually really liked. And not only that, but you can come into our Discord and suggest things that you would like us to make videos on, and we will
eventually.
Those.
Yeah. So I think you nailed it on the head there, guys. Make sure to join the Patreon if you're looking to improve your game at a very respectable price. We appreciate that because it also helps support the podcast and the time we put into it. Without further ado, guys, whether you're playing online, live, or whatever it may be, go slap them around tonight and just enjoy it. Hope you make all the dollars. And Wes, hope you have a good rest of your day, sir. We'll talk
I
to you
hope you
soon.
do too, Max. That's really kind of you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're still dumb though and ugly.